Hello folks, today's review is for the OWS Pros from Oladance. These headsets are open ear design that rest gently on top of your ear, not inserted into your ear, and should give you all day comfort when wearing them. I have Apple AirPod Pros first and second generation, and I never fully enjoyed using them. While the sound was always good from the AirPods, I had issues with calls, and I just never really liked having the earpods stuck into my ears. Over time, they'd get uncomfortable and would fall out. Also, they would fully block out everything around you. And I often still wanted to have some interaction with the outside environment. So if you're like me and you don't like using earbuds, you find them uncomfortable, and you need a flexible solution to your environment, this review of the OWS Pros may be worth a few minutes of your time today. Now, this is not a sponsored review. I saw an ad for these online. I purchased them about 5-6 months ago. And this review is my personal opinion of me using these every day in several different environments. So let's talk about the design. The OWS Pro has a silicone molding that rests on top of your ear. You can see here I'm sliding it right on. They slip on very, very easily. They have an ergonomic design that hooks around your ear with even pressure. So I'll turn my head here, a couple different positions, and you can see how simply they went on and how comfortable they sit on the head. Based on how they wrap around your ear, and the counterweight opposite of the speaker, I found they stay in place in several environments. Whether you're working out, you're out riding your bike, out on a walk, working in the yard, washing the car. So on the move, they don't move around. And even wearing them for long periods of time, you really don't notice them on your ears. One of my favorite features is the entirely open ear design that allows you to keep aware of your surroundings and not having your ear canal fully sealed like an earbud would do. Obviously, here's an Apple AirPods, and you would have to insert this into your ear. And that's the difference. I put these through real-world tests to see if having the noise coming from my surroundings would impact the listening experience. And here's some of my examples. Coming off a knee replacement surgery and going to physical therapy, I've been wearing these while on the bike, going through my exercise, and I was still able to hear and talk with my physical therapist while having the music or podcasts or anything I was listening to at a reasonable volume, and I did not have to adjust the volume and still interact with the people that I was talking to. I've worn these at grocery stores or at Costco, and I was able to interact when needed with others, but I still had really good listening experience. Now, walking in the neighborhood, what I really liked was I could hear the traffic coming up behind me. However, it never drowned out what I was listening to. So I found this as a really good safety item. So if you're out walking around, you're riding your bike and you put the AirPods on, you got maybe your music up a little high, it tends to block everything out. This still let me interact with that environment. Now I did try these like on my riding lawnmower, and when the blades are engaged, that's about 90 plus decibels. And even if I would turn the volume up full volume, it could not block out the mower. So not the best at extremely loud environments. That's where I would say these do not do as well as an earpod or total over-the-ear noise cancellation environments. But for every other day use, say you're at the gym, you're shopping, you're out on walks, out at the park, you're at the airport, whatever it is, you're just at home. They were very comfortable. They sound great, and they allowed me to fully interact with that environment as needed. You can see how easy it is pop off, come off very simply. Very, very comfortable headsets. One point, if the environment is loud with heavy talking and background and noise, you may need to turn up the volume a little bit more to tune out the environment slightly more than I'd say the AirPods that are in there, but not to the point that it's uncomfortable and so forth. Now, at extremely loud, very noisy, busy environments, I would say these are not your solution. But again, you're not really in that often. Everywhere else where you tend to wear these, you're going to find they work great. I was just on a trip. I had them at the whole time at the airport, walking around. I was able to hear the announcements for the flights and so forth, but I was still listening to my music and my podcasts, and I never had to take them off, and I never really had to crank up the volume. So in my day-to-day use, I found I use these more often than my AirPods. I just find them so much more comfortable. I was able to enjoy what I was listening to, and the outside environment did not impact my experience most of the time. The sound. Okay, so that's where I thought these might not hold up since they don't go all the way into your ear canal, and I was worried how loud I had to turn them up to hear the volume to get really good sound and really enjoy the environment. Additionally, I was also worried about once you turn that volume up, about the sound leakage for those around me. But as I stated, this was not an issue for me. They actually beat my expectations. And the listening experience was really, really good. I did not need to fully block out the sound, but I still enjoyed the music and the podcast without having these inserted into my ear. Since the OWS Pros do not have to fit into your ear canal, and the more overall surface that goes around your ear for the battery, they have more room for their speakers. And I'll try to put this up here. You can see this is the part that hangs over the back of your ear, and then this part here is the speaker. So they have more room for that speaker. So each earpiece on the OWS Pro is equipped with 2 speakers and membranes. This structure doubles as the sound pressure level, improves the bass performance, and reduces the high frequency distortion. That's how the OWS Pro can provide a 360 surround sound experience that's extremely vivid. The sound is very clear, it's loud, it's full of bass. They use double chips to drive the OWS Pros. Each earphone is equipped with a primary chip and an amplifier chip. They have the space to do that. They combine this with the virtual bass algorithm using a high dynamic power to enhance a low frequency sound that gives you a fuller, deeper bass. I actually found the sound as good as my AirPods. They combine this dynamic EQ algorithm to help deliver the sound at different frequencies. So indoor and outdoors, they clearly drive that listening experience. Overall, the sound quality for both music and voice I found to be better than actually my AirPods at times. And the comfort was the real plus for me. I also found they figured out a smart sound leakage prevention system to ensure private listening experience. It delivers sound internally and suppresses the sound leakage externally, protecting your privacy. So at normal comfort listening volumes, I never had anyone tell me they could hear what I was listening to. At near a full volume, there is some leakage. However, you would need to be standing directly next to me, almost at my ear to hear it. So let's talk about phone calls. Calls are good. They connect well. It's very easy to hear the full conversation within all environments that I tested. And I was also told that my voice was very clear and loud on the other end of my calls. You have all the controls to answer the call, turn up the volumes built into the earpieces. It does take some time getting used to the buttons, but once it did, it worked well. So there are some buttons here on the side. There's little side buttons that you can press for answering calls and so forth. And it's just not a tap. There's a little sidebar here on the side. And I will show you here this little silver bar. Probably very hard to see on the video because it is so small, but pushing it up or down, pressing it once or twice will allow you to adjust volume, answer calls, hang up calls, change songs, and so forth. So music would pause and continue after the calls as well. So they interact very well with my iPhone and my watch for continuing calls. I also like that they've worked in well with the watch. So with my Ultra, I can use the dial to change the volume, change my songs, and so forth with these. Let's talk battery. OWS Pro claims to have up to 16 hours of battery life. And with the case, you can get up to 50 hours of full battery life. I've not tested it for listening for 16 hours, but I have had these on for 6 hours and have had no issues. I did not have any battery dropping or fading out. In fact, they were comfortable enough that I would leave them on even if I was not using them. If they're low on charge, Oladance states that a 15-minute charge will give you 6 more hours of playing time. They do fit well into the case. And will charge once it's in place. Now, you can see the case is a bit larger due to the overall size of the earpod. So I found it to be slightly bulky in your pocket at times. However, it's not that bad. It's about as thick as an earpod case, but it's almost twice as wide. So if I'll put these two here, you can see, here's my AirPod case, here's the Oladance. You see the thickness is the same, but it is definitely wider. It's about the size of the palm of my hand to give you some perspective of how big that is. It comes with a USB-C cable to charge the case, and you don't have to use, but it does not have mag charging, so you do have to plug the USB cable either into your laptop or into a wall charger. There are 4 indicator lights on the case showing you the case charge level. However, they're not very bright, so they can be hard to see in bright light. Oladance has a good app for the OWS Pros, at least in my experience with it on an iPhone. Once you have the earbuds paired and you open the case, you'll see the earbuds connected and it'll display the remaining battery life. You can also see the battery life remaining while they're in use with the app. So here's my final thoughts. These headsets are not perfect, especially if you want to fully block out your outside environment. If that's a requirement, this headset's not a fit for you. However, if you're like me and you don't want anything inserted into your ears, you want good sound quality, phone interaction, then these are highly recommended. I am using these daily. The battery life is very good, and there's never been any issue with drop calls or lost time due to battery or connection. Comfort is a big factor, and these are very comfortable to wear for long periods of time. They don't slip off or move around once they're in place. Being able to interact with the outside environment and still have the music on is another major plus as well. So overall, I would recommend if you are looking for an alternative to earbuds, I would look at the Oladance OWS Pros. They are a highly recommend for me. So thank you for stopping by, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel.